What's up, everybody? It's Vash Steel here again. Uh, Now, a lot of things are happening the past couple weeks, which is why I wasn't able to upload and whatnot. I mean, I know I don't edit any of my videos and whatnot, but it's just some things were going on, personal issues, stuff around my house and whatnot. But here it is. You guys saw, like, I did a spicy noodle challenge just recently. So that video went up before this one. This one was supposed to come out. Well, I was supposed to make this one last week, but some things went down. I didn't get a chance to record at all, so just got busy with a lot of things and whatnot. So anyway, today is another episode of Which Do I Prefer? I need to get myself one of those. I need to get an editor. That's what I need. Anyway, so if you guys remember when I did my Which Do I Prefer with Full Metal Alchemist, and I think I did, I don't know, I think I did another one, I'm not sure, let me know if I did another one. No, I don't think I did another one. Well, if you guys remember my Which Do I Prefer with Full Metal Alchemist, I talked about certain aspects of both animes, about which I preferred, about which parts I preferred over the other parts of the other anime. So like I said, I preferred Full Metal Alchemist original from 2003 compared to Brotherhood, just for the sheer direction it went with the story, bringing an entire new story plot to it and several movies. So today I'm going to talk about characters specifically from both Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just like doing this because I am not going to put any pictures here. Anyway, so the character I'm discussing today is Fury King Bradley, also known as Pride in Full Metal Alchemist 2003 and Wrath in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If you guys didn't watch it already, like, this spoiler alert, I guess? You guys should have watched it already at this point. But, yeah. So, which Fury King Bradley do I prefer? Do I prefer Fury King Bradley Pride or Fury King Bradley Wrath? Which do I prefer? So, let me break it down for you guys first. So, Pride in the original 2003 series was originally there as an actual full-born homunculus, not what we see in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, I'll get into Brotherhood Bradley in a bit, but Full Metal Alchemist FMA 2003, originally Fury King Bradley was a full-born homunculus. He was the homunculus Pride, which is he still had the ultimate eye and everything. He still had all that stuff. He still had all his abilities with the sword, being the Fury, having his son Salim Bradley and his wife and whatnot. Yeah, all that stuff in Full Metal Alchemist 2003, that's what it was. But Pride was more of a hands-on kind of person rather than a hands-off kind of person that Wrath is. So the original Pride, or Fury King Bradley, he would actively go out and actively seek and actively push the Ulrich brothers to furthering the goals of the homunculus. And the way Pride King Bradley was defeated was because his son Salim Bradley had brought back the so before I say that, the way homunculus are killed in the original FMA is that they have to be around or near their original body that was brought back with them when they had been created. So for like the original Sloth, who she was Edward and Al's mother, that was a failed transmutation. So they dug up the parts that were remaining, and they brought that over to them to defeat Sloth and whatnot. So that's how the original homunculi were killed. So the original Fury King Bradley died because Salim Bradley had brought back the skull of King Bradley, and that severely weakened King Bradley in his fight with Rory Mustang in the Bradley household. Sorry if you hear like all that random shaking. My dog is right here. But there's a huge fire in the Bradley household because Roy Mustang is the Flame Alchemist, and he went on to personally take on Fury King Bradley, and Salim went back with Bradley's skull and that I think it was a skull, but that severely weakened King Bradley because of the way, because that's how homunculi are killed in the original, and eventually, or Roy Mustang does eventually kill Fury King Bradley, and he's the one that walks out victorious. Now, in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, jumping onto that now, Fury King Bradley is Wrath. He's still a homunculus. He's still that. But the difference between Wrath, Fury King Bradley, versus Pride, Fury King Bradley, is the fact that Wrath, Fury King Bradley is a human with a Philosopher's Stone implanted into the person. It was entered into the bloodstream and whatnot. The tests are all explained in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't want to go too much into detail with that, but he's still human, so he's still able to die. He's still able to age and whatnot because he is still human, even though he has a Philosopher's Stone inside of him, as all homunculi do. He doesn't have the regenerative capabilities that greed, gluttony, pride, or lust, or envy have. He doesn't have any of those. He doesn't have any of their capabilities like the regeneration and whatnot. But what he does still have is his ultimate eye, and ultimately that is what creates his ultimate defense too. So there's only one blind spot, and that's outside of the eye's vision. So that is how that's who King Bradley Wrath is. Who he was as a person was he? Well, obviously he's the same person as Fury King Bradley from the original FMA. However, this Fury King Bradley did things more along the shadows, trying to keep the fact that he was a homunculus hidden from as many people as possible. And then Roy Mustang, well, Mace Hughes found out in both versions. He found out, and Envy was the one to execute him in both versions. Well, I say both versions, but then there's a movie. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the movie because Fury King Bradley wasn't in the movie, so I don't really give a damn. But yeah, Fury King Bradley Wrath. He really was a step up, I want to say, from the original Fury King Bradley Pride, because Wrath was actually more active. It was actually, you could feel a sinister sort of sense from the first time he appeared, from the first moment he appeared on screen. So if you guys remember the first episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, they're chasing down Isaac McDougall, the Freezer Alchemist. So or Isaac the Freezer, the freezing alchemist, Isaac the Freezer. Isaac McDougall is there chasing him down. Well, the Elric brothers are chasing him down and captured him, but the military police accidentally let him escape by letting him fall into a puddle of water, turning into steam and whatnot. So he was able to escape, and then Fury King Bradley was the first one to find Isaac McDougall, and McDougall was like, it's Fury King Bradley, huh? I get the opportunity to kill you now. So Fury King Bradley really showed us how terrifying he is and how strong he is, really, in that first episode that he first appeared. That was the first appearance, first episode of the series, and he already was a force to be reckoned with. It was already, like, the name wasn't just for show, So, like, the thing I liked about Wrath King Bradley was that he was more active while still trying to lay low in between the series. He was still throwing major hints about being about not being with the alchemists and whatnot. And well, I don't want to say not being with the alchemists because he was with the alchemists, but he actively showed more signs of being, like, not the person who he says he is. So, like, Wrath King Bradley actually had a purpose to be there. He was there to be deterrent to Roy Mustang, who was trying to be the next Fuhrer of Amestris. So that was the whole reason Wrath Bradley was there. While Pride Bradley was there, it just felt like he was just there. He really honestly didn't do much. Like, he killed Greed. He didn't kill Greed, but he killed Greed's comrades. He caused Alphonse to be able to transmute without a circle by killing Martel inside of him. While in Brotherhood, Bradley was more active. He actively was the one to seek out Greed, captured him, killed his comrades and whatnot, took him back to Father, and did the whole process to turn him back into a regular Philosopher's Stone, take away his regenerative abilities and everything. He basically was the reason why Greed was moved inside to Ling Yao's body. And that's a whole other issue I don't want to talk about right now. I'll talk about in another video. My issue with why Greed Yao is different from Pride, or different from Wrath Bradley. So, all in all, I do enjoy Wrath Bradley more than Pride Bradley, simply for the fact that it doesn't feel like he's just there because, oh, it's King Bradley, this name has been dropped several times, we should show him. Yeah, honestly, like, King Wrath Bradley was the he was basically one of the main villains in Brotherhood, where he actively sought out to deter the Elric brothers and everybody that was surrounding them, trying to keep the mystery from the homunculus as much of a secret as possible, even keeping the fact that his son Celine Bradley was a homunculus too. So Wrath Bradley is honestly the choice for me, for which I prefer more, even though Pride Bradley was like cause of several major events, but Wrath Bradley was basically the driving force for the Elrics. Like he basically made it so that the Elrics had to be forced to lay low, even though they knew his secret, and because the military knew the Elrics, their history and whatnot. They knew who to use against them, so they used Winry as a hostage in order to be able to get the Elric brothers to cooperate with them. And it was just the way Wrath Bradley had strategized everything that made me enjoy him more as a character, rather than Pride Bradley, who honestly felt like he was just there. So anyway, that's the end of this. Which do I prefer? So, drop a comment down below. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer Pride Bradley or Wrath Bradley? Like I said, I prefer Wrath Bradley because of the fact that he was a lot more active in Brotherhood than Pride Bradley was in the original Fullmetal Alchemist. So, that's gonna do it for this time. This is Vash Steele signing out.